My name is David Preiser. I'm not Randy Foster. Randy is the editor of our Sun Journal. I am the director of digital media for EMC Media Group, which includes the Sun Journal, our Kinston newspaper, Jacksonville. We have a product in Topsail. We have a product in Havelock. We are owned by a company called Gatehouse Media, which is the largest publisher of daily papers in the U.S. Over 400 newspapers. We operate over 380 websites. The scale is rather significant. All of that doesn't matter to anybody here because this is New Bern. And the core of Gatehouse Media is that it's a collection of locally focused media operations, locally focused digital media operations. Gatehouse Media also owns a company called Propel Marketing, Propel Business Services, I should say. Propel is a standalone digital marketing services company with over 12,000 private sector clients across the U.S., headquartered in Braintree, Massachusetts. Our sales operations are in every one of our locations. Our biggest challenge today is getting our local operations to understand more about what digital media can do. My background personally is that started out in newspapers in Chicago, migrated to the East Coast, migrated to the West Coast, was in California, Portland, Oregon, ended up coming back here to the East Coast. When we talk about social media and what it does for a community, I'm going to wind all the way back to more than 10 years ago when Katrina hit. I specifically remember because I worked for a company called Advanced Media, who owns the New Orleans Times-Picayune. That entire community, the scale, I'm not comparing the scale to what happens or happened here because I don't want to minimize the concern that everybody has locally. But New Orleans was devastated. And New Orleans Times-Picayune as a newspaper couldn't publish. Most of the people couldn't get to the office, and if they could, it wouldn't matter because they couldn't turn anything on. They couldn't clap on, clap off the press if they tried. They couldn't get newsprint there. But what they did, what collectively the newsrooms did, this is how old new media is, more than 10 years ago. They posted to Twitter a active news channel. They allowed the community to contribute. They allowed the community to contribute pictures, requests for help, food. They did a great job on, they sponsored their own Twitter site, and they were able to post it from a server elsewhere outside of the community to at that time, the desktop units, because mobile wasn't as pervasive. And I do agree with Joanna that mobile is where it's at right now. But going back more than 10 years ago, that's how old new media, old social media is. It didn't have its birth there, but it allowed itself to be the voice of the community when operated the right way. Now, bring it back to where we are right now. As I said, Gatehouse Media is a collective of local, digitally focused operations. So from the Sun Journal, what that means is we have more capabilities digitally than we do print-wise. Our newspaper right now gets about 27% of its audience from social media. And frankly, from my business standpoint, I really don't care what we're doing as long as we're helping our local customers. We should be able to help our local business customers with any kind of product available. And that means if we never touch the Sun Journal in helping that person, fine, as long as we're helping the local business reach the customers they want. And that's what we do at the Sun Journal from a business standpoint. From a news standpoint, what we do is make sure we connect the community we connect businesses in the community with residents of the community, and we make sure the residents know what's going on in the community, whether it's from us or whether it's from another source. Again, that's whether it's in print, whether it's in a digital format, whether it's on Twitter, regardless. We really are very agnostic when it comes to the media that we use and how that is affecting the community here. We have lots of platforms that we can make available and we are found on. whether it's Facebook, whether it's our mobile site, whether it's our mobile app, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram. There are so many ways to reach not the Sun Journal, but there's so many ways for us to be able to communicate with the local residents, and that's exactly what we do for a living. Finally, I want to just run down, if anybody wants to know exactly what all these social media platforms do, they're defined very simply. If you're Twitter and you want to talk about donuts, you just say, I'm eating a donut, hashtag donut. If you're on Facebook, you want to say, I like donuts. If you're on Instagram, you have a vintage photo of you eating donuts. If you're on YouTube, you have a video about watching you eating a donut. If you're in LinkedIn, by the way, your skills include making donuts. If you're on Pinterest, here's a donut recipe. And this is my favorite. If you're on Google+, I'm a Google+ employee who eats donuts. That's how we define social media.